Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Online Islamic Teachings.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
This lesson is the places of origination of the Arabic alphabet. Objectives: to understand where each letter originates from, also known as the makharij of the Arabic letters. We will understand why it is important to know the originating places of the Arabic letters. We will study this topic in more detail after we have learned about fatha and sukoon. So at the moment we're only doing a very brief introduction. Later on we're going to study this makharij in a lot more detail. Why we will study the makharij? In every language, the correct pronunciation of letters can be taught by understanding how the tongue, throat and mouth are used in the pronunciation of the letters. So this is important. Most languages, when you're really trying to understand how to pronounce properly, you have to go into the detail. By correctly understanding the exact mechanics of how the sounds are produced, you have a better chance of pronouncing the Arabic letters accurately. Again, if you're not Arab, like myself, you will not be able to pronounce them 100%, but you should be able to get close to the pronunciation. Some languages have the same sort of pronunciation as Arabic, but require a slight change in the pronunciation to get it right in Arabic. This requires the understanding of the origination point of each letter. So some languages, like the one spoken in Pakistan, have the same sort of alphabets, but they pronounce some letters slightly different or even totally different depending on where the sound originates. It could be even to where they put their tongue when they try to say the letter. So by learning how this works in Arabic, you can slightly adjust your pronunciation to fit in with the Arabic pronunciation. So where can sounds originate from? So this is high level. The first place is the throat, i.e. your air passage, known as al-halq. We can divide this into the bottom of the throat, the middle of the throat and the very top of the throat. The second place is the oral cavity, that's the space between the tongue and the roof of the mouth, known as al-jawf. We then have the nasal cavity, i.e. the air passage in your nose, going to the back towards your throat. This is known as al-khayshum. We have the two lips, known as ash-shafatan. And we have the tongue, which is known as al-lisan. A bit more detail about the mouth following on. Again, we have the bottom of the throat, the middle of the throat and the very top of the throat. We'll study the top of the mouth. So right at the back of your mouth you have a very soft part of the back of the mouth, known as the soft palate. Moving towards the middle of the mouth, the top roof of your mouth is known as the hard palate in the middle, or the roof of the mouth. You also have, coming towards the front of the top of your mouth, the hard palate at the front roof of the mouth. We then have the very front of your hard palate, which some people will call the gums, where the hard palate meets the upper front teeth. And we have the gums at the bottom of your mouth, which meet with the front bottom teeth. So group 2, the letter fa is in group 2. So here we have the letter fa. Now when you pronounce the letter fa, your upper front teeth should touch the inner wet portion of your bottom lip. So say fa, fa. The next three letters which are in group 2, so the same group as fa, because it still has to do with the lips. are meme, ba, and wow. So when you say meme, your front two lips come together. However, it's the outer dry portion of your lips that should be touching. So say meme. When you say ba, your lips come together, but it's the wet portion or the inner parts of your lips that actually touch. So say ba. And when you say wow, wow, you make a small circle with your lips, and it's only the two outer right and left parts of your lips that are actually touching. So say wow. The next group of letters are all the throat letters. So we'll start with two letters which originate right at the bottom of the throat. So the letters are Hamza and the soft Ha. Now Hamza in Arabic represents what we call the glottal stop. Now in English you have no letter to represent the glottal stop. However, if you were to say any letter beginning with one of the English vowel sounds, so for instance the letter A, if you say 8 but say it very slowly, 8, you should feel that your throat blocks a tiny bit right at the beginning. That's known as the glottal stop. So in Arabic that's represented by the letter Hamza, and that's why it's drawn right at the bottom of the throat. And the small letter Ha, which is a very soft Ha, also originates from the bottom of your throat. The next two in group 3, i.e. the throat letters, is two letters which are at the middle of the throat, originate in the middle of the throat. This is the letter Ain and the letter Ha. So this Ha is what we call the forceful Ha, because you're exhaling a bit more forcefully and that air is being pushed out from the middle of your throat. So again, Ain and Ha. The next two letters in group 3, i.e. we're still on the throat letters, is the top of the throat. So this is two letters, which is Ghain and Kho. Ghain and Kho. And you'll notice that your tongue doesn't actually touch the back of the top of your mouth, but it's really a sound taking place right at the top of your throat. Group 4 then is when we do move into where the tongue is being involved. So what we've got here is two letters pronounced where the back of the tongue is touching the soft palate, which is the top part of the very back of your mouth. Now there are two letters which are operating slightly differently. So we have Qaf and Kaf. So when you say Qaf, the back of your tongue effectively touches the very back of the soft palate and blocks the air before you release the sound. So it's Qaf, Qaf. Whereas the Kaf, Kaf, is again touching the soft palate, but it's slightly more forward than the Qaf, and it's just said normally quite softly as Kaf, Kaf. Group 5 is operating where the tongue is touching the hard palate almost in the middle of the mouth. Again, there are three letters and they have slightly different positions. So we've got the letter Ya, Ya, which is almost exactly in the middle of the mouth, i.e. your middle of your tongue, touching the top hard palate in the middle of your mouth. We have the letter Jim, Jim, still towards the middle of the top of your mouth, but slightly more forward. And then we have Sheen, Sheen, which goes just a little bit more forward, but still, we would still class that towards the middle of the top of the mouth on the hard palate. So that was group 5. Group 6 then is where the tip of your tongue, or the very upper front of your tongue, is touching the hard palate at the front of the mouth, but not the gums. So we're not as far as the gums, which meet the front teeth, slightly behind that. And again, slightly different variation in how the tongue operates, but generally the front of the tongue touching the hard palate just before the gums. So the first letter is the letter Ra, Ra, and you should notice when you say that the back of your tongue lifts up as well. Ra, Ra. Next one is Lam, Lam. So a bit more pressure on the front of the tongue. The back of the tongue is as normal, it's not raised. Then we have a Noon, Noon. So again, the tip of the tongue pressing on the front hard palate. Your lips actually go a bit round with the Noon, Noon. That's group 6. Group 7 is where the front of the tongue meets the gum, and it's slightly on the front upper teeth as well. So going over your gums and your front teeth. Okay, so that's the very front hard palate, also known as the gums, and the front upper teeth. The letters that are said like this, 2 of them start in exactly the same way, i.e. the position of the tongue. So we have the letter Ta, Ta, and we have the letter Dal, Dal. And the other one we have is the letter Bo, Bo. So you apply a bit more pressure on the front of the tongue this time, and the back of the tongue raises a little bit. Bo, Bo. So that was group 7. Group 8 is where the tip of the tongue starts between the upper and lower teeth. So the letters in group 8 is the letter Tha, Tha, and then we have the letter Dhal, Dhal. So both of them, your tongue is just between your upper and lower teeth. So not right outside your mouth, i.e. it's not protruding outside the lips, but still just between the 2 front teeth. The other one is the letter Dho, Dho, which again you apply a bit more pressure on the tongue at the front, and the back of the tongue will lift. So we have the letter Tha, Dhal, and Dho, and that was group 8. Group 9 is where the tip of the tongue touches the bottom gums and the inside bottom front teeth. And the 3 letters is Za, Sin, and Sod. And again, Za, Sin, the tongue touching the lower gums and the bottom of the inside teeth, the tongue as normal. And Sod, Sod, bit more pressure on the tongue, and the back of the tongue will lift a little bit. So that was group 9. The last group is group number 10, which consists of just 1 letter, and the letter is Bod. Now this is quite difficult to say, and it's difficult to show in a diagram, but effectively what you're doing, if you're right-handed, the left side of your tongue will touch the upper left teeth on the top row of teeth. So your upper left teeth, your left side of your tongue will touch. So say bod. So it's like saying the English word door, but putting your tongue on the upper left teeth and applying pressure and then releasing it. So you say bod. Now notice as well that there will be a portion of the sort of middle part of your tongue, i.e. the middle part going through the whole length of your tongue, which will be touching the hard palate roof of the mouth as well. But the main thing is to try and get the left side of your tongue to touch your upper left teeth and say dod, dod. If you're left-handed, you would normally put the right side of your tongue onto the upper right teeth, and some people can do it both left and right side. So that was group 10, the letter dod. The next slide is about what we call nasalization. So there are times when you're pronouncing certain things in Arabic where you hold the sound in your nose, so it's like a small reverberation inside your nasal cavity. We're going to study the nasalization of noon and meme here, and this nasalization that takes place is known as al-ghunna, al-ghunna. So we're going to have a look at it operating with meme and noon. So with meme, it will normally happen when there's some sort of sound joining to meme. So an example is and effectively what you're doing is forcing the sound up into your nasal cavity. And with the noon, same sort of thing, a joining sound. And so that's forcing the sound into your nasal cavity. So those sort of sounds are known as al-ghunna, and it can happen with other letters as well, but we'll cover that in the more advanced stages of the Tajweed. In conclusion then, we have learned the places of origination of all the Arabic alphabet and some of the long vowels as well. We will cover the places of origin and the exact letter pronunciations later on, after we have studied Fatha and Sukun. So again, that was only a very brief introduction, and there's certain techniques that you can apply to check your makharij.
For more videos, please subscribe to our channel, and for online Quran classes, please join us at Skype ID Online Islamic Teachings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.